The following is a lecture entitled Life or Death, given by His Grace Sriman Sankarshan Das Adhikari, recorded on May 24th, 2010, in Sofia, Bulgaria.
So tonight we are going to hear a lecture called Life or Death.
Тази вечер ще чуем лекция, която се нарича Живот или смърт.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Parakamulam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Padijana Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Shri Lalita Vishakam Vitam Shcha. So you have your choice. We all have that choice. Life or death.
Вие имате този избор, всички ние имаме този избор, живот или смърт.
Do you want to be alive or do you want to be dead?
Дали искате да бъдете живи или искате да бъдете мъртви?
You may wonder what do I mean, because everyone prefer to be alive. If you offer to kill them, they would try to get away. So what are you talking about?
Вие може да си помислите за какво говоря. Аз всеки би предпочел да бъде жив.
What I'm talking about is this modern day civilization is a death civilization.
За което аз говоря, че съвременната цивилизация е една мъртва цивилизация.
One who becomes conditioned by it is practically a dead person, even while they're walking around alive.
Когато някой стане обособен, той на практика е умрял човек, въпреки че се ходи.
You may say, Sankarshan Prabhu, how can you say such an outrageous thing? All the people of Sofia are dead people? What are you talking about? That's outrageous. But no, it's not outrageous. Practically they are dead, you see. Because they are not connected with their actual self. Under the influence of the modes of nature. They're like puppets. They have no freedom. They're being manipulated by the Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun, just like puppets. So they may say, I'm free man. But that freedom is an illusion. They are not free. Actual freedom means to not be under the impulse of the modes of nature. To be able to act in terms of one's actual, eternal, blissful, all-knowing nature. That is freedom.
Свобода означава човек да може да действа в съответствие със своята вечна, блаженна и съзнаеща природа.
Not the temporary, miserable, ignorant, so-called self.
А не временното, нещастно и невежо, така наречено себе.
Of course, they imagine that they're free, you see.
Те си въобразяват, че са свободни.
Just like one time I went to jail. I committed a very horrible crime. I was distributing Back to Godhead magazine. So they arrested me. They put me in jail. But I noticed within the jailhouse there were some prisoners who had somehow advanced to a higher status. You see.
Но аз забелязах как в затвора имаше някои затворници, които по някакъв начин се бяха издигнали по-високо
They were called trustees.
положение, защото те бяха така доверени.
They could leave their cell and walk up and down the cell block, and there's like in the small county jail, there'd be 20 cells in the jailhouse. 20.
Това беше малък затвор, който имаше може би 20 килии.
So these trustees, they got to walk up and down the row and chat with all of us who were confined to our cells, you see.
И тези, които бяха получили такъв по-висок статус, бяха доверени. Те можеха да излизат от килиите си и да ходят между
And they're thinking, yes, I am a free man, I am a trustee.
Защото те можеха да си говорят с всеки от нас по-отделно и те си мислиха, аз съм свободен човек.
These other prisoners, they're confined to their cell, but I get to walk up and down the hall.
Тези другите затворници са си затворени в техните килии, но аз мога да се разхождам между килиите.
But the so-called trustees, they are also prisoners.
Но тези така наречени доверени хора, те също са...
So even if you become Brahmanji, the controller of this entire material universe, you are still a prisoner.
Те пак са в затвора. Дори човек да стане Брама, който контролира цялата вселена, той пак се намира в...
Brahma bhuvana loka, punaravartin arjuna, mamu pechadapon kutapunteya punarjanmana vijite. You understand these points? From the highest planet in this material world
от най-висшата планета в материалния свят
down to the lowest planet, Patala Loka,
до най-нисшата Патала Лока,
every place is miserable.
Всички места са места на страдание.
I don't care how rich you are.
Няма значение колко сте богати.
I don't care how famous you are.
Или колко сте известни.
I don't care how powerful you are.
Няма значение колко сте могъщи.
As long as you're in this material world, you are miserable. That's a fact.
Докато се намирате в този материален свят, вие сте нещастни и това е факт.
Because this is a place of suffering.
Защото материален свят е място на страдание.
There's nobody out there in the world society that's actually happy. Nobody.
Няма никой в обществото, който да е наистина щастлив.
We think they're happy. The rich, famous, powerful people. It is just an illusion.
Ние си мислим, че тези богати, могъщи, известни хора са щастливи, но това е само илюзия.
The only person who is truly happy
единствената личност, която наистина е щастлива,
is that person who has come to Brahma Bhuta
е тази личност, която се издигнала
and Krishna Bhakti.
до платформата на Брахма Бута и Кришна Бхакти.
Brahma Bhuta is the preliminary stage.
Брахма Бута е подготвителният, предварителният.
And that is also a state of great happiness.
И това е също едно състояние на голямо щастие.
In other words, even before you achieve pure bhakti, you can become very, very blissful, even before pure bhakti.
Дори преди човек да постигне чиста бхакти, той може да бъде изпълнен с голямо блаженство.
Brahma Bhuta prasanatmana sochati nakangshati samaksar veshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes absolutely ecstatic.
Така този, който е трансцендентално установен, веднага осъзнава върховния Браман и става абсолютно екстатичен.
He doesn't hank for anything.
Той не купнее за нищо.
He doesn't lament about anything.
Не скърби за нищо.
He's equally disposed towards every living being.
Така личност е еднакво разположен към всички живи същества.
And Krishna says, and in that state, he attains transcendental loving service unto me.
И Кришна казва, че в такова състояние така личност постига любовно служение на него.
So if even the preliminary stage before a pure devotional service is absolutely ecstatic,
дори този предварителен етап, дори преди чистото предано служение, той е абсолютно екстатичен.
Just imagine how much nectar there is in pure bhakti.
Тогава просто може да си представите колко нектар има в чистата бхакти.
It's absolutely inconceivable.
Това е абсолютно невъобразимо.
There's only one way to find out what it's like.
И има само един начин да разберете това.
Got to become a pure devotee.
Като станете чисти предано отдадени.
But it's so hard to be a pure devotee, they say.
Но те казват, толкова е трудно да бъде чист предано отдаден.
Guess what?
Познайте какво?
It's much easier to be a pure devotee than to be an impure devotee.
Много е по-лесно човек да бъде чист предано отдаден, колкото да бъде не чист предано отдаден.
Because the impure devotee is going back and forth. You see?
Защото не чистият предано отдаден само...
I'm going to surrender to Krishna.
Само се колебае.
Now I feel like giving in to Maya.
сега ще се отдам на Кришна, сега пък искам да
And he gets a little thrill from giving in to Maya, but he feels so bad about it.
Той се отдава за малко на Майя, но след това ще чувства толкова зле.
Now I'm going to become a pure devotee.
И решава, сега ще стана чист преданен.
And then he gives in to Maya again, you see.
И след това отново пак на Майя се посвещава.
That's hellish.
И това е адско просто.
Just fully embrace pure bhakti.
Човек трябва просто напълно да прегърне чист.
And then you don't have to feel bad about falling into Maya.
И тогава няма да се чувства зле, че е паднал в Майя.
You can just always be in life, and I'm doing my duty.
Човек винаги се чувства въодушевен, че
I'm doing what my spiritual master wants me to do, 24/7.
Че се изпълнява дълга, това, което духовният му учител иска.
I mean, the spiritual master isn't that demanding. All he wants you to do is chant Hare Krishna and take prasadam, really. It's not that difficult. And follow the principle, It's not that hard.
Не е така, че духовният учител иска да твърде много. Той иска да повтаряме Харе Кришна, да приемем прасада, да следваме.
Someone may say, yeah, but those principles can be pretty tough.
Някой може да каже, да, но тия принципи са много, много трудни понякога.
But if you associate with people who are following the principles, if you associate with people who are getting a taste from the holy names when they do kirtan, you'll be infected with their disease, pure bhakti disease, you see. And you will get that taste. And when you get that taste for pure bhakti, when Maya comes knocking on your door, when she comes to the hotel of your heart, she will see a sign there posted on your hotel. No vacancy. She'll have to go to someone else's heart to look for a place to spend the night. Because your room, the hotel of your heart will be fully booked up with bhakti, you see. Bhakti at 4 a.m. Bhakti at 4:30 a.m. Bhakti at 5 a.m. You got the idea. You booked your daily schedule, you see. 24 hours a day booked for bhakti. When my wonderful godbrother Vishnu Janaswami one time was with Prabhupada in his room in Los Angeles, Prabhupada, see, I have harmonium here. I have harmonium here, you see. No gaps for Maya. If there's any spare moment, I can sing some bhajan. So in this way, you fill your life up with service, singing bhajans, cooking for Krishna, eating Krishna prasadam, reading the books, making friends with people and telling them about Krishna. Traveling to holy places like Vrindavan, or traveling and preaching to spread Krishna consciousness, earning money to donate to the temple to help the Krishna conscious movement, or to donate to the BBT to help publish more books in Bulgarian. See, just fully absorb your life in Krishna's service. And you won't be dead. You'll be alive. And you'll be absolutely ecstatic. But some people say, well, Sankarshan Prabhu, I tried it, and but I found the devotees were really rough with me. I mean, I saw so many faults in the devotees, and they weren't pure, and they had so many, I saw so many faults in them: lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, envy. I just couldn't handle it. Now I just go home and chant on my own. I don't come around very often. Well, we admit that we have our faults, I mean, we're trying, but We don't say that we're all Paramahamsas here. We wouldn't make such a claim, obviously, you know.
Преданните имат много недостатъци и ние това го признаваме, че не сме парамахамси, имаме си своите недостатъци.
So we have to be a little tolerant of each other's faults, you know.
Но ние трябва така малко да проявяваме търпение към собствените си.
Even Prabhupada was tolerant of our faults.
Дори Прабхупад е търпял нашите грешки.
He said, I am 10% strict and 90% lenient.
Прабхупад каза, аз съм 10% строг, стриктен и 90% фидален.
Especially in the early days, it was amazing. The stories from the old days, you know.
Особено историите от тия първи години.
Devotees were told not to go out to eat in karmi restaurants, you know.
На преданните им било казано да не ходят и да ядат в ресторанти на кармите.
But they hadn't given up the habit. There was a donut place just down the street from the temple.
Но те не били изоставили този навик. Имало такова понички продавали.
So Prabhupada would go on his morning walk, you know. He's going to walk down the street. He walked by this donut shop.
Се разхождал сутринта си мантрува покрай този магазин за
понички. And he came by the window. The devotees would go down like this, you know. They would go hide down at the booth.
И когато Прабхупад минал там, преданните се прилетявали така под витрината да не ги види.
So, I mean, I don't recommend that you all should be doing these kind of things, obviously. But I'm just saying, you know, Prabhupada's very tolerant. I mean, I personally don't do such things. I was on the airplane today, and they offered us we actually offered us twice. We were on 2 flights. We were flying from Timisoara to Bucharest to Sofia. Each flight, they offered us a whole dinner, a sandwich, a salad, a whole thing, you know.
На самолета, когато пътувам, винаги на всеки полет ни предлагат пълна вечеря там.
Of course, it was a Ekadasi. But even if it wasn't a Ekadasi, and even if it was completely vegetarian, we wouldn't touch it.
Дори да не беше Екадаши и да беше напълно вегетарианско яденето, ние няма да го докоснем.
Why? Because it's made by karmis.
Защо? Защото това е направено от кармите.
We bring our own prasadam.
Ние си носиме свой собствен
prasadam. Now, some things, there's a little leniency, like the juice, a soft drink or a juice, but there's some leniency there.
Човек може да направи компромис с ако предложат някакъв сок.
But the general rule is you don't eat food made by non-devotee. So we just brought our own. We had, when they brought out we had the lady put down the little mat, the little cloth on our little tray, and we brought out our buckwheat and our potatoes, and we with the tomato chutney mixed in with the buckwheat. We had a great dinner there on the great lunch on the airplane at 30,000 feet.
Ние си извадихме нашия прасадъм и се наслаждавахме.
Made by the devotees in Romania, you see. With love and devotion and offered to Krishna.
На прасадъм, който преданните от Румъния ни бяха направени.
So in this way, you know, it's very blissful to follow these principles.
Така е много блажено човек да следва тези принципи.
We had the best food on the whole plane.
Ние имахме най-добрата вечеря.
Krishna Prasad, you see. Cooked with love. Those potatoes tasted great. They were simple potatoes, but they were very nicely spiced with salt and pepper, and very nice baked chunks. They were very, very tasty. So we don't need to spend money to go to some karmi restaurant to enjoy our senses. It's not necessary. Or even take the food on the airplane that comes free along with our ticket. Well, it's not really free, but you know, you paid for it with your ticket.
Дори не взимаме храната, която така наречена безплатна в самолета.
See, we don't need such food.
Ние сме си платили с бирата, така начин.
We just need Krishna Prasadam.
Нямаме нужда от тази храна, защото ядем Кришна Прасадам.
So in this way, even though, you know, it seems difficult to be Krishna conscious sometimes.
Дори понякога да изглежда, че е трудно да си Кришна осъзнат.
And even though sometimes we're discouraged by seeing the false egos flaring up sometimes and all these kind of things. We have to be a little tolerant and realize, well, hey, I'm not such a pure devotee myself either, so why should I blame them so much if they're struggling with their senses too, just like me? We're all struggling in different ways, you know. I remember my godbrother Sridhar Maharaj. He's this is the one who left his body in Mayapur. That called the Jali Sannyasi, the chubby Jali Sannyasi, Sridhar Swami. He was a wonderful godbrother of mine.
Сещам се за един мой прекрасен духовен брат Шридар Свами, който скоро напусна тялото си в Шридан Майапур.
But he told the story of how he was, when he went for initiation in Los Angeles as a young brahmachari.
Той разказва историята, когато на своето посвещение в Лос-Анджелес.
He was in a state of complete awe, going forward for his beads, complete awe and reverence, like practically approaching God himself. I mean, not literally, but that kind of awe and reverence, you know. He was very in a state of total awe.
Той изпитвал такова страхопочитание и почет, когато отива си вземе браницата от Прабхупад, че на
And Prabhupada said, he was offering obeisances, and Prabhupada said something to him.
И когато дал почитанието си, Прабхупад му казал нещо.
But he was in so much awe, he couldn't respond. Prabhupada said, so, you are a brahmachari?
Той такова страхопочитание изпитвал, че нищо не отговори. Прабхупад го питал.
And the devotee tapped and he said, Prabhu, Prabhupada's talking to you. He couldn't.
Ти брахмачари ли си?
So he came out of his little awe and reverence trance and realized my spiritual master is talking to me. I have to relate with him.
И когато той излезе в това състояние и разбрал, че духовен учител му говори, той каза, трябва да му отвърне.
So he took that actually as a blessing, you see, that he had been recognized as a brahmachari by Prabhupada.
И той приел това като благословие, защото Прабхупад го признал като брахмачари.
And he remained brahmachari throughout his whole devotional life, you see.
И той останал такъв брахмачари през целия си живот.
And here he was now giving an interview, and after being a very mature sannyasi, he's having disciples all over the world, etc., etc., etc. Am I translate them?
И той дал интервю, след като вече бил саньяси, имал много ученици след толкова време.
And he chuckled and he said, here I am still struggling.
И той се пошегувал и казал, ето ме тук и аз още се боря с...
So I realized that this is a person who's actually very advanced in Krishna consciousness.
И аз осъзнах, че това е личност, която наистина е много напреднала.
This is a person who did not fall down, you see. He remained solid in sannyasa and brahmachari life, completely solid.
Това е личност, която не е паднала и останала солидно установена в брахмачари и саньяси.
He never got deviated by this Gaudiya sannyasi or anything like that. He was never deviated in any way. He was a great Krishna conscious sadhu.
Той никога не е бил отклонен от някакъв друг...
But he said, here I am still struggling. He said, somehow or other, I never got married. I always remained brahmachari, but here I am still struggling.
Той каза, аз по един или друг начин никога не се ожених и остана брахмачари, но ето ме още се боря.
So Krishna conscious doesn't mean no struggle. It means you embrace the struggle.
Кришна съзнание означава да прегърнеш борбата.
This is like somebody who's a champion chess player, you see.
Както някой шампион, гросмайстор по шах.
It is struggle for him to win that chess match.
Дали той се бори за да спечели титлата?
Yes, it's a great struggle to win. He sweats. Very intense struggle to win that chess match.
Разбира се, това е голяма борба. Той се поти, докато се опитва да спечели партията.
So it's not that struggling means you're doing something wrong. No, if you're not struggling, you're doing something wrong.
Така че не е така, че ако човек се бори, той прави нещо погрешно. Ако не се бори, тогава значи, че нещо.
Does a country have to struggle to win a war against an enemy that's attacking it?
Ако някой се опитва да се бори срещу врага, който го атакува и се опитва да спечели войната.
No, there must be a struggle.
Трябва да има борба, битка.
And if there's no struggle, there's no victory.
Ако няма битка, няма да има победа.
So right now there's a war going on. We're trying to be Krishna conscious, and the material nature is trying to defeat us.
В момента се води битка, ние се опитваме да бъдем Кришна осъзнати, а материалната енергия се опитва да ни победи.
So if you're not struggling, that means Maya has captured you. You say, okay, Maya, I give up. I'm not going to struggle anymore to be Krishna conscious.
С други думи, ако ние не се сражаваме, значи, че Майя ни е пленила и ние сме се отказали да бъдем Кришна осъзнати.
So, just have to embrace the struggle like that champion chess player. That's all.
Затова ние трябва да приемем, да прегърнем тази битка, както този шампион по шах.
Relish the struggle.
И да се насладиме на...
Is the sweetest nectar.
You see.
Because there's nothing that pleases the spiritual master more to see his disciples struggling to conquer their senses and struggling to push forward this movement.
Защото няма нищо по-удовлетворяващо за духовния учител, това да ви неговите ученици да се опитват да покорят сетивата си и да разпространяват движението за Кришна съзнание.
So I can ask now if there's any questions.
че че по-лесно човек да бъде чист едновременно, колкото нечист. И стана с такова впечатление, че това е просто на миг. Но не е така, че това е процес, който постепенно освобождаваме от материалните превързаности и постепенно развиване на вкус към лично съзнание. Нали, както ако изведнъж това стане да е като сърдечна операция, като пациента умира.
You said, you mentioned that it is easier to be a pure devotee than an impure devotee. And he got the impression that this can happen in a moment, if it's so easy. But isn't it that Krishna consciousness is a gradual process of getting rid of all our attachments, and if it was so momentary, then it will be like a surgery when the patient may die, you know, if it's so abrupt.
It's like a Band-Aid. You know, Band-Aid? They call it, a Band-Aid?
Това е като лекопласт.
There's two ways to pull off a Band-Aid.
Има два начина да махнеш лекопласта.
One hair at a time.
Едното е косъм по косъм.
Or often we have to admit it, we pull it off one hair at a time because the whole thought of pulling it off all at once just seems like it would be a horrible pain.
Често трябва да си признаем, че се опитваме косъм по косъм, защото самата идея, че трябва цялото изведнъж да го махнем е много така ни стресира.
But actually, if we use our intelligence to realize, if I go, doesn't even hurt, and it's finished.
Ако използваме интелигентността, ще разберем, че ако изведнъж го направим, дори няма да ни заболи и край.
It's just the idea of all those hairs being strongly yanked at once is just like becomes overwhelming. You think, I couldn't do that.
Просто идеята, че тия косми всички ще бъдат изведнъж оттегнати и изпълва с страх, че не можем да направим.
So I'm not saying that, even though the easiest thing is to be a pure devotee, it's very rare that someone will actually do it.
Искам да кажа, че въпреки, че най-лесно нещо да бъдеш чист преданен, всъщност
because our mind puts up all these obstacles.
Много малко са тези хора, които наистина го правят, защото ума ни
поставя
различни проблеми.
Manushanam sahasrishu kashtit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kashtit mangviti tatvataha. So many obstacles are put forward.
Има толкова много препятствия, които ума ни поставя.
I think I couldn't do that because this and this and this and this and this and this and this. For these are just mental concoctions. So we struggle. But that struggle is glorious. So gradually we will come to pure bhakti. But actually we could just say, all right, I'm going to finish the struggle now and just become a pure devotee. But we have too many mental conceptions in the way, that's the problem. We think, well, Krishna is God, maybe. What if this whole thing was just Prabhupada, something that Prabhupada scheme, some scheme that Prabhupada cooked up? One could have so many doubts in the mind that make you hesitate to fully surrender. So one has to understand Krishna consciousness with one's intelligence, not blindly. That will destroy the demon of doubt. Just like I was speaking with a nice young man this morning in Romania. And he admitted he still had his doubts about, Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's been chanting 16 rounds for years, following the principle. But those doubts are still going around and it makes it hard for him to surrender.
И тези съмнения, които той все още има, правят трудно неговото отдаване.
So I explained to him in a purely logical way how to understand that Krishna is the supreme, scientific way.
И аз му обясних научно, използвайки чиста логика, че Кришна е върховният.
So I don't know if I have time to get into that now because there's other questions, but I've explained it in other lectures here. But we have to understand that, philosophically understand the highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all.
Идеята, че ние трябва да разберем най-висшата философска истина, която е реалност, различаваща се от илюзия.
And the more we become philosophically convinced, philosophically strong, it's easier to do it because the doubts go away.
Колкото повече философски се убеждаваме за това, толкова по-лесно става да се отдадем, защото съмненията се разпръскват.
That's why it's recommended to attend every day, Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. Study Bhagavatam every day, either together with the devotees, or if you can't come, you study at home in Bhagavatam.
Затова се препоръчва човек да изучава Бхагаватам всеки ден, дори ако не може да идва при.
Because this Bhagavad philosophy is the most high-level scientific knowledge available anywhere in the history of the universe.
Защото философията на Бхагаватам е най-висшето философско и научно знание, което го има изобщо във Вселената.
So, if we keep that enthusiasm that I want to fully surrender to Krishna now and keep trying our best, then we will make very good progress.
Ако ние поддържаме ентусиазма и правим най-доброто да се отдадем на Кришна сега, ние ще осъществим много добър напредък.
It's a gradual process, yes.
Процесът е постепенен, това е така.
Generally, yes. It doesn't have to be generally.
Така, в общия случай е така, но не е необходимо да е така.
Prabhupada gives the example of Kadvanga Maharaj.
Шила Прабхупада дава примера с Катванга Махарадж.
In 1 second he became a pure devotee.
Който за една секунда станал чист преданник.
So there's no reason to prolong it. Well, it's a gradual process, Prabhu, you know.
Няма нужда да го удължаваме и да отлагаме, като си мислим отваря постепенен процес.
That's what we call, back in the 60s, we call that a cop-out. A cheating.
Това в 60-те години го наричахме...
Copying out is like
сам да се лъжеш, да се маниш.
A lame excuse.
Някакво такова нелепо извинение.
It's a gradual process, Prabhu. Don't expect me to, do this because it's a gradual process.
Процесът е постепенен и очаква от мен да направя това.
Don't make that a crutch. It's a gradual process, Prabhu.
Човек не трябва да прави от това извинение или някакъв навик.
Because the more you advance, the more you become ecstatic. So why suffer unnecessarily?
Защото колкото повече напредва човек, толкова по-екстатичен става. Защо е необходимо да страда ненужно?
One should always try to advance as much as possible every day.
Затова човек всеки ден трябва да се опитва да напредва колкото е възможно повече.
What is gradual process means? Is it that we go gradually in the process or that we get the result gradually?
Какво означава постепенен процес? Дали, че ние се движим постепенно в процеса или просто резултатите от процеса?
It means there are steps.
Това означава, че има стъпки.
Sadhusanga, Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya.
Има различни стъпки.
And you don't need to translate these. Anartanavritti, and then Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prem. There are steps you have to go through.
Има стъпки, през които трябва да се издигне човек.
Yeah, but they are the higher steps. Like after Sadhusanga and Bhajana Kriya.
After Bhajana Kriya, you go to Anartanavritti, and then to Nishta.
Yeah, but those just gradually we come to that result, and gradual process is something different that you go like 1 round a day, and 2 rounds a day.
Yeah, that's something different. Yeah, somebody wanted to chant 16 rounds. In fact, they were so enthusiastic to become Krishna conscious, they were chanting 16 rounds. And someone said, Bhakta Joe, you can't do that. You haven't been authorized. You're at this level. You can only do 4 rounds a day.
Ако примерно някой иска да толкова ентусиазиран, че още като начинаеш иска да почне да натрува 16 кръга, но някой му казва...
That's ridiculous.
Някой му казва, не, ти не си на това.
Whoever was advising him was totally caught up in so-called rules and regulations without understanding the essence.
този, който го е посъветвал, всъщност не е разбирал същността на процес. Само правила и предписания са.
That little girl had a question back there.
Това момичета малкото има въпрос. Малкото момиченце има въпрос.
Don't laugh, please. Don't laugh when these children ask questions. It makes it seem like it's a joke. Don't laugh when they ask questions. Okay, go ahead. What's the question?
Does Krishna walk with the cowherd boys?
Krishna, yes, Krishna does walk with the cowherd boys.
Krishna ходи с пастирчетата.
He also runs with the cowherd boys.
Той също и тича с тях.
He also wrestles with the cowherd boys.
Той също така се и бори с тях.
Just like children play, Krishna does all those kinds of things with his cowherd boyfriend.
Както децата си играят, така и Кришна си играе с своите пастирчета на всякакви игри.
So I think you had a question, yeah.
Аз искам да попитам, понеже става въпрос, че не може да ходим на ресторанти. Искам да попитам дали може да ходим на ресторанти, като се предлага Кришна Прасана, както примерно това място, което Бхакти Печи и Рух направил да се грижат за него, дали може да ходим на такива ресторанти с Прасана, като това място.
You said that we should not go to the karmi restaurants to eat their food, but can we go to restaurants where devotees are cooking food like this place? It's maintained by devotees.
Yes, devotee restaurants are a very nice place to go.
Ресторантите, които са поддържани преодани, са много хубави места да се ходи.
Because it's prasadam.
Защото се сервират прасади.
I was just recently in London and we took prasadam at the restaurant at Soho Street. It was very nice.
Наскоро бях в Лондон и се хранихме в ресторанта на Сохо Стрит. Беше много хубаво.
Yeah. So yes, devotee going to a Krishna conscious restaurant taking prasadam is very nice. Any other questions?
Ако младите преглодани могат да напредват спокойно, без да се притесняваме от високите критерии, изисквания, инструкции и настоящите преглодани, които всъщност помагат им да напредват, но в един момент заради неличностното си общуване всъщност им пречат. Някога да им общуват нормално и да се развиват нормално.
Sometimes the older devotees, they have very high requirements, and the younger devotees, the junior devotees, they cannot handle these very high standards, and they feel they cannot advance nicely because of this not very personal attitude from the senior devotees. So what to do in this case?
Well, if somebody's attitude is not very personal, that means they're not really a senior devotee.
Ако нечие отношение не е много личностно, това означава, че такъв пренодан не е много старши.
The true senior devotee is he's very compassionate personal attitude. That's the true senior devotee. True senior devotee is an ocean of mercy. He showers the neophyte with so much kindness. Even if the neophyte is offensive towards him, he repays that offensiveness with love. So if somebody is being offensive to you, it means they're not a senior devotee. They're being impersonal, they're not senior. Not really senior. All right. Is Maharaji here?
Но въобще не обича да дава почитание, тъй като неговата представа, че Бала Рани и Кришна са негови приятели и той няма това отношение да се държи по стандартите на храма. Как и най-добре това да го свързва?
She has a friend who is 5.5 years old. And
5.5.
Yes, and when he comes to the temple, he does not pay obeisances because he thinks that Krishna and Balaram are his friends. So what to do with this person?
Actually, the young children should be trained as brahmachari.
Всъщност, младите деца, момчета, трябва да бъдат обучавани като брамачари.
If they think I do not bow down to Krishna, is not very good training.
Ако те си мислят, аз няма да отдавам почитание на Кришна, това не е добро обучение.
The young brahmachari, he's taught from the age of 5, he's taught to be very strict servant of the spiritual master.
Младият брамачари се обучава още от 5 годишна възраст да бъде много стриктен в служенето.
The spiritual master enters the room, he bows down.
Да отдава почитание на духовния учител.
When the deity curtain opens, he bows down.
Когато духовният учител влезе в...
If the child thinks, I'm not going to bow down, these are my friends up there, he'll never make any advancement.
Когато се отваря ултарата, трябва да отдаде почитание. Ако си мисли, аз няма да отдавам
The parents need to train him, or someone needs to train him. It has to be the parents, they're responsible.
Децата трябва да бъдат обучени да отдават почет. Това е отговорност на родителите и на някой друг, който трябва да...
You'll never become qualified to become Krishna's playmate if he can't offer his obeisances.
Човек никой няма се квалифицира да бъде приятел на Кришна, ако не може да...
Of course, then how you present it to him, it should be done very nicely and very tactfully, not rudely.
Разбира се, въпросът е как ти да му представиш нещата и това трябва да бъде направено много тери.
You say, yes, these are your best friends. Yes, they are your best friends.
Ти трябва да кажеш, да, това са твоите най-добри приятели.
You want to please your friends, don't you?
Нали искаш да удовлетвориш приятели?
You want to make your friends happy, don't you?
Нали искаш да са щастливи твоите приятели?
They want you to bow down.
И те искат и тебе да им се поклониш.
And if you do, they'll give you special mercy.
И ако им се поклониш, те ще дадат специално.
They will shower their mercy on you.
Ще излеят своята милост върху теб.
And you'll be the happiest little boy in the whole world.
Ти ще бъдеш най-щастливото малко дете в целия свят.
So in this way, you take you understand what you need to do, but then do it in a very nice way that it connects with his present state of mentality, you see.
С други думи, ти разбираш какво трябва да се направи, но по такъв начин му го представиш, че той да може да го разбере със своето състояние на ума.
But at a young age, especially the parents, can teach them to do what they are told.
Но когато са малки, децата биват обучавани от родители си.
The idea let the child do whatever he wants is a demoniac philosophy.
Идеята да оставиш детето да се прави каквото си иска, това е демонична философия.
The parents should train the child how to bow down to the deity, bow down to Guru, bow down to Vaishnava.
Родители трябва да учат децата как да се поклонят на Гуру, на Вайшнави.
How to sit nicely and hear Bhagavad Gita lectures, Bhagavatam lectures in this way.
Как да седнат хубаво, за да слушат лекциите, по този начин трябва да бъдат обучавани.
And this way the child will get more pleasure out of hearing Bhagavatam than he would by watching a stupid cartoon on the television. We've seen this.
По този начин децата ще извлечат по-голямо удоволствие да слушат Бхагаватам, когато толкова гледат тъпи...
Parikshit Maharaj, as a young boy, he couldn't care anything about sports. He cared nothing about sports. He was interested in Krishna consciousness only.
Парикшит Махарадж не се интересува от спорт като малък, той само се интересува от Кришна съзнание. От игри, не се интересува от игри.
So, we can train them how to sit and hear nicely. Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, they will learn how to relish the sweetest pleasure by hearing and discussing these topics. Even at the age of 5, they can learn this.
Ако ги обучим дори на такава млада възраст да седят и да слушат лекции, те ще почнат да изпитват голямо...
And they'll become powerful transcendentalists.
И постепенно те ще станат много могъщи трансценденталисти.
Because once you get that taste, you see, you won't go back to the lower tier.
Защото веднъж получил този висш вкус, човек няма да се върне към по-нишия.
So that the children should not be neglected. Those who bring them into the world, they have to give them their full attention, practically 24 hours a day.
Затова децата не трябва да бъдат пренебрегвани. Тези, които си раждат деца в този свят, трябва да им отделят...
Not in a harsh or rude way, but in a very loving way.
Постоянно внимание, не по някакъв груб начин, но с много любов.
But they may sometimes have to act in a harsh way as out of necessity.
Понякога обаче се налага човек да действа малко по-рязко, когато е необходимо.
But always based on loving mood.
Но винаги в основата трябва да е любов, да има любов.
It's like in discipline, you can't always flatter. You have to sometimes show anger. In disciplining someone, you have to sometimes show anger.
Когато се опитваш да дисциплинираш някой, не можеш винаги да го ласкаеш, трябва понякога...
How many times Prabhupada showed anger to us?
Да проявиш гняв. Колко пъти Прабхупад ни се е гневял?
Sometimes his anger was, devotees completely overwhelmed, but his anger was so heavy that he was just completely devastated by Prabhupada's anger. That means Prabhupada was overwhelmed by Kruta Vegam? No. He was using it as a teaching method. That time in Mexico City, they were out preaching and no one got up for Mangalarti. In that Bhagavatam class, they got chastised up one side and down the other again and again and again, and they were shaking. It was so heavy, Prabhupada's anger. When Prabhupada got angry, he would even show bodily symptoms like a quivering of his lip in anger. I mean, he really became very intense in anger. And then the temple president, Chitsukananda, he followed Prabhupada out of the temple room after the lecture. He always did that. That was his habit. He always felt like he was Prabhupada's little puppy dog. He'd always follow Prabhupada around wherever he went. And as the temple president, he had some privilege to do that, you see. So they walked out of the temple room, and there was some nice flowers growing, beautiful aromatic flowers growing by the door. So he picked one and offered to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was like Nrsimhadev. Okay? And he offered him that flower, became like a completely a different person, just like the most calm, mellow person. Just like in one minute he was Nrsimhadev, in the other he was just like the Paramahamsa, relishing this wonderful aroma of the flower. And Chitsukananda said, Prabhupada, how is it you were so angry, but now you're so peaceful? How is it, Prabhupada? Said, actually, I'm never angry with you, my disciples. But sometimes I must show anger to train you. So the parents, they should never become overwhelmed by anger when they're raising their children. Never overwhelmed by anger. Never, ever, ever overwhelmed by anger. Not even once. But they can sometimes act as if they are very angry to bring their kids to their senses, you see. So anything else? I guess we're a little running out of time now, getting a late start. All right, one of the children has a question. All right. Remember, don't laugh when these children ask questions. I'm training you all. Don't laugh when they ask questions. Go ahead.
Her question is why Krishna went to the demoness Putana to suck her breast milk when he was knowing that she was poisoned.
Yeah. Krishna did not go to her. She came to him. He was laying there and she came into his house, posing herself as a nurse, which means nurse means one who gives the breast milk to the baby.
И тя се представила за дойка, която дава от млякото си на бебето.
So she came in disguising herself as a beautiful demigoddess
И тя дошла и се престорила на
who wanted to nurse the little baby, and they said, all right.
красива богиня, която иска да нахрани бебето.
So Krishna knew it was actually a demon.
И Кришна знал, че това е демоница.
So why did he agree to suck her breath?
Защо се съгласил да случи от нейната гръд?
He wanted to kill her?
Дали искал да я убие?
To get even with her for trying to poison him?
Да й отмъсти така, че се опитва да го отрови?
Not really. Krishna is not. He's not a vengeful Lord.
Не, Кришна не е отмъстителен Бог.
He wanted to deliver her.
Той искал да я спаси.
Because anyone who is directly killed by God,
Защото всеки, който е директно убит от
they
Бога,
get liberation.
получава освобождение.
Usually impersonal Brahmana liberation.
Обикновено това е имперсонално освобождение.
But because she approached him as mother,
Но тъй като тя се обърнала към него като майка,
and there is no one more dear than mother, you see.
а няма никой по-скъп от майката.
Because she approached him as mother, then he said, all right, you can be my mother, like you can be in that mood of my mother in the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan. You liberated her, Goloka Vrindavan.
Понеже тя се обърнала към него като майка, той приел това и настроение и освободил, и тя станала негова майка.
She became in the parental rasa, which is a very high rasa, almost the highest rasa, just one step away from being a gopi. In the parental rasa, in Goloka Vrindavan.
Тя си стигнала до положението на родителска раса, която е много висша на една.
So Krishna agreed to suck that poison so he could suck the life out of her and suck all of the material consciousness out of her and deliver her back to home, back to Godhead. That's why he agreed to suck her breath.
Така Кришна се съгласил да случи от нея, за да изпие млякото и живота и цялото материално съзнание и да освободи.
So now we will continue tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Така сега ще продължим утре сутринта в 7 часа.
And I've been asked to do one song.
И аз помолиха ме да изпия една песен.
So I will go ahead and do one song.
Така че ще изпея една песен.
I need a microphone. We used to have I used to produce a TV show in the U.S. called Turn On Your Soul. TurnOnYourSoul.com. So I'll give you I'll give you the lyrics ahead of time, the translation, so you know what I'm singing. Those of you who can't figure out English songs as they're being sung. Yeah, this was the theme song for our show. Do you know who you really are? Do you know where you're coming from? Do you know where it is that you're going? Or what you will become? You're eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. You're eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So remember and celebrate this. You're not of this world, dear friend. So you better tune in and turn on your soul. Do you know what happens when you die? What is your message for him? Do you know what's beyond the sky? So the next verse is, let's see. See, now I forgot it. Do you think that body is you? Do you think that body is you? It's just something that you're passing through. Well, yeah. Do you know what's beyond the sky? Do you know what happens when you die? Do you know what's beyond the sky? Do you think that body is you? It's something you're passing through. You're eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So remember and celebrate this.
Така че помнете това и празнувайте.
You're not of this world, dear friend.
Вие, скъпи приятели, не сте от този свят.
So better tune in and turn on your soul.
Така че по-добре се настройте.
We're told that everything happens by chance.
На нас ни казва, че всичко се случва по случайност.
That the universe has no person in control.
Че Вселената няма някой, който да я контролира.
But I see that every machine has an operator.
Но аз виждам, че всяка машина има оператор.
So the universe also has one.
Така че и Вселената трябва да има
This I know.
оператор. И аз знам това.
Then I repeat the first verse again.
И тогава отново повтарям първия стих.
So now we'll do it.
Сега ще стане.
Don't start clapping. If you clap, then listen, follow my rhythm. If you clap your own rhythm, it'll spoil everything. So follow the rhythm that I'm doing, then it's okay. But clap not too loud. But do you know who you really are? Do you know where you're coming from? Do you know where it is that you're going? Or what you will become? You're eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So remember and celebrate this. You're not of this world, dear friend. Better tune in and turn on your soul. Do you know what happens when you die? Do you know what's beyond the sky? Do you think that body is you? It's just something that you're passing through. You're eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So remember and celebrate this. You're not of this world, dear friend. Better tune in and turn on your soul. We're told that everything happens by chance, that the universe has no person in control. But I see that every machine has got an operator. So the universe also has one, this I know. You better believe it. Do you know who you really are? Do you know where you're coming from? Do you know for sure where you're going? Or what you will become? You're eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So remember and celebrate this. You're not of this world, dear friend. Better tune in and turn on your soul. Yeah, you're not of this world, dear friend. Better tune in and turn on your soul. Thank you very much. So I don't know. You probably want to hear another song, but I don't. I left my song sheet in the. It's packed in my luggage in the car right now, and it's locked up. It's kind of a trouble to get through. So, it's running late, and I have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I've been very sick, so maybe I'll just do one song tonight. Can I see you tomorrow? I have a bad cough, very bad cough. Do you have time to see me, Doctor?
He has come to see you
Tonight? Oh, very good. Tonight's that's even better. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just hacking cough all night. Very bad.
You can do the part of the blues.
Huh?
Part of the blues.
All right, I'll do a little part of this song. This is a song that's being worked on right now. It's not completed yet. Have any finger picks? Yeah, it's all right. So anyway, this song is about material life. You see, all of us have a bad case of what's known as the existential blues. The whole world is suffering from the existential blues. Ever since I can remember, this cough's getting in the way, but I'll try my best. Ever since I can remember, I've always had the blues. Translated. And so to have them today, translated. And so to have them today is no spectacular news. Looks like I'm always gonna have 'em, even though, Lord, I can't stand 'em. Yes, it got me a bad case. Oh, it's horrible. Of those existential blues. I mean, it's pretty horrible. Oh, God. Now, this next verse is a true story. So I went to my daddy to tell him I was blue. He said, don't worry about it, son. It's just a phase you're going through. So I tried to put my blues behind me, but they just kept on tagging along behind me. Yes, it looks like I got me an incurable case. Oh. Of those existential blues. Now here comes the chorus. Yeah, the blues has got me. That's a special kind of English spoken by the black people, okay? Yeah, the blues has got me. Those existential blues has got me. Yeah, the blues has got me. Those existential blues has got me. Yes. Do you have a zoo here in Sofia? You do? Okay. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Feel like I should be living in the Sofia Zoo. Cause it got me a strung out, wrung out, hung out case of those existential blues. So anyway, I haven't finished the song yet, but that's how it starts, and then I want to put it on the top 40. That's my goal. So. Because I've seen this song, the Karmis like this song. I've seen it. They eat it up. They go, "Wow, that's really cool." You know. So I think it's a way to get. Oh yeah, here's one more verse. I got out of bed, I was walking around, up and down this old bewildered town, just looking, just looking for somebody that didn't have the blues. Everybody thought I was crazy, but you know, I didn't let that faze me. But I could not find a single soul that didn't have the blues. It's pretty heavy, let me tell you. This is what it was like before I became a devotee, actually. It's true. I mean, it's true. I was looking for somebody that wasn't bewildered, and I couldn't find anybody that wasn't bewildered. Until I came in contact with Prabhupada and his followers. Everybody was bewildered. With that incurable disease known as, you guessed it, the existential blues. So anyway, yeah, my desire is to put that get that on the top 40 somehow. You make Krishna consciousness cool, in the pop culture. That's my desire. So we'll see what Krishna has in mind. Jai Hare Krishna.